So actually, we as a consumer, we don't
Are
really
you
know
aware
the
of the
best.
average per unit?
All of you are kings and queens in your own home with your own throne that you can sit on and decide and let the business continue to woo you.
Welcome to another edition of Consumer Voice, the platform that tells you all about your rights as a consumer and how to enforce them whenever you feel they have been breached. One of the issues as consumers that we take for granted is a product's best before date. As I say that, many persons may wonder, what is the best before date? Is it the same as the expiry date on a product? How many times do we get to check the best before date on a product before we purchase it? We take these things for granted because we trust that the producers have done the right thing. But many have lost their finances and even lives. So in an effort to avoid that, the Consumer Protection Council has dedicated this special program to discuss the best before date and its implications. How does it affect you as a consumer? What do you need to be aware of? What are your rights and responsibilities, and how can you get redress? Still on this program, we have an update on CPC's activities as well as a segment on Consumer of the Week. But first, we'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll go straight to our discussion segment. Don't go away.
Welcome back to the interview segment. As you've heard earlier, today we are discussing best before date. And with me in the studio are two experts from the CPC. First on my right is Mrs. Joy Lekua, Assistant Director, Consumer Education Department, who will educate us on the role of the consumer and the manufacturer. You're welcome to the program, madam.
Thank you very much.
On my left is Mrs. Mokwe Akeju, Deputy Director, Quality Assurance and Development Department, who will take the technical aspects of this topic. You're welcome to the program, madam.
Thank you, Amen.
Let me start with you, Mrs. Akeju. There is need for clarification on the use of the best before date. Many consumers are either not aware or not clear about its meaning. I want you to explain to me as a layman, what is the best before date and what is the expiration date?
Well, thank you for the question. The best before date and the expiratory date, according to the NAFDA regulation on labeling of prepackaged food, they all define the date of minimum durability of the product. Now, if you want to look at the definition of the Codex general standard on the full labeling of this group of food, and then, by the way, Codex is the world body that's responsible for the quality, safety, and trade in food. By the definition, the BB date, which is the best before date, is at the end of that period that you may not, that's when the product is stored under the conditions specified by the manufacturer, that the product will be optimal. After that product, we cannot guarantee optimal performance of that product. And in case of the expiration date, which is of the expiratory date, a product with that type of date marking, safety is a matter of safety, and it's a safety issue with that date. However, according to the Codex definition, they said that product with the BB date, it can still be perfectly satisfactory after the date has passed. But the question a consumer may ask is how long? You know, it's not defined that, it's not explained in that definition. So there's a bit of ambiguity, you know, when you have a BB date actually to a consumer and even the regulators alike.
Okay, so what then is the difference, and what are the manufacturers telling us about these two dates, best before date and expiry date?
Okay, I will explain that by giving some examples. Some products generally carry BB dates. You can have your packaged cornflakes, you can have your the powdered milk. In most cases, we find those products having BB dates. Now, when it comes to expiratory date, you find that some selected products that they do carry expiratory date, and that include formulas for liquid formula for oral or tube feeding. You can have some food supplements. You can have some meal replacements, infant formula. It's a matter of safety. When that date has passed, it's as good as you cannot guarantee the safety of that product.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Lekua, we have just heard about the importance of the best before date and the expiration date. So what is the role and responsibility of a consumer?
Thank you very much, Amy. It's a very good question, which I would like to align with the first speaker on the definition or explanation she drew on best before date, and then differentiating that from the expiry date. You discover that with these two definitions, none of them is really in the favor of the consumer. Immediately the consumer finds out that the best before date is passed, or discovers that the expiry date has also passed. What the consumer is supposed to do is not to buy. And before then, remember that we have consumer right. And this right, the first one there, or one of them there, is that you're supposed to have satisfaction of whatever you have bought, your basic needs. Now, which means there should be value for whatever you spend your money on. Now, the manufacturer information to the consumer is that when you get the best quality of my products is so time within this duration. Do you understand? And this is the one for expiry dates. I feel that the manufacturer has really said a lot. This means consumer check. And if you see that this thing has come to this point, don't buy. That's what they are saying. If not, that information shouldn't have been there. They should have left you to consume endlessly. So the consumer is supposed to check. The first thing you do when you enter into any place to buy anything, especially the food items or anything that carries that information, is be patient enough and check. What are you checking? The best before date or the expiry date. And if you see it, what do? Alert the owner of the shop and say, see my findings. These ones have expired. Are you getting me? You play your role.
So basically, when I get in,
Yeah.
I have the right to check.
You have
Once
the right
I
to
check,
check.
I can also exercise whether I'm going to buy it
Yeah.
or I'll just leave it.
Yeah.
Thank you, madam. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we will discuss further on the technicalities of the best before date and consumer rule. Don't go away. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you've missed out quite a bit on an interesting topic, best before date. But don't feel disenfranchised. You can follow us on our other platforms, our website, our Twitter handle, our Facebook, and of course you can reach us on any of our contact details which are being scrolled on your screen. Today, we are discussing best before date. Mrs. Akejin, before we took a break, you discussed the technicalities of the best before date. Let's take it a bit further. Let me paint a scenario. For example, a product has a best before date of 30th November and a consumer goes in on the 26th of November. Should he buy it? How about a consumer who goes in on the 2nd of December or the 15th of December? There's a challenge there.